Hello everybody, this is Lady Kaylah here, and welcome to the Geekdom. Today I'm going to do a Game of Thrones episode review, this time on The House of Black and White, which is episode 2, season 5. And if you're new here, I just want to say that I do, on occasion, do book-to-show comparisons. It's not necessarily something I strictly do or focus on, it just kind of happens since I am a reader, so you've been fairly warned. So let's get started. I don't really do these in chronological order either, so I kind of just go by character. And to start, I'm going to just start with Arya, and this episode was named after her. We see her go to Braavos, and I just love it. Braavos is beautiful, and I've always been intrigued by the Free Cities, and Braavos is kind of like one of the ones that we get a lot of insight on from Arya's perspective, so it's really nice to finally see it, and I was actually glad that they did spend a little time on the scenery portion of Braavos. And she gets taken to the House of Black and White, which is where her coin takes her, and she just gets rejected, and that was her only hope. She crossed the sea, she's in a place where, like, not even just like another place. Sorry if you heard that. Someone's being really loud next door. Anyways, she's in a new place. She gets rejected from the only place she has hope, and yet she kind of just goes with it. Like, she's not overly concerned. She stays on the steps for a while, and then later we see her chasing pigeons, either for practice or for food. They didn't really show, but she's capable of taking care of herself. She was about to like slay these, I'm guessing, just street urchins. I don't know. But anyways, finally, when she's fending for herself, does the person who was at the House of Black and White come to her and get her back, and turns it into Jacob. And this doesn't at all happen in the books. I mean, she does go to the House of Black and White, and she does get accepted, and she does go through her time there, but I don't think we see Jacob ever again, except here we do. And other than a couple plot points that are kind of important to the book, I'm not going to complain, because Jacob is hot, and to see him again is amazing. And so we kind of get reminded that the Faceless Men are capable of changing their appearance, and now Arya's there. She's going to the place where she is supposed to become no one, and Jacob refers to himself as no one, so we can assume that she's going to learn how to become a faceless man. So that's Arya's segment. And then next we have Sansa, and Sansa is with Peter, and Brienne and Pod come across them, and Brienne pledges her service, and Sansa's like, no, I'm kind of just not going to trust you, I'm going to stick with Peter, which is understandable to an extent. I have a feeling she doesn't trust Peter that much, but she feels safest with him. So she's going to ride that out until something better comes along, because riding around with Brienne isn't going to be safe with her, and even if she sticks with Peter and brings Brienne along, she doesn't know Brienne's motives. Like, she's already needing to watch Peter. Like, she doesn't need to add Brienne into this cycle of strangers that she needs to watch. So although, you know, to us it's like, why, Sansa? Like, Brienne's gonna actually be loyal and care for you. We have to remember that Sansa doesn't know that. And so Brienne still chooses to follow her. And this is another part where I'm just like, the book part of me is like, I mean, I have a feeling that down the road I'm not even going to be able to do book-to-show comparisons anymore. So, on to the next one. Cersei is becoming a central figure, and she's getting more perspective, and I think as time progresses she's going to start getting more sympathy. Not to the point that I think Jaime does, but just to the point where people are going to understand her character a little bit more than in the beginning. So her daughter Marcella is in danger. Not only is she just scared because Myrcella's away, but the Dornish actually sent a threat. They sent Myrcella's necklace in the mouth of a viper. And so Cersei's going crazy. How many of her children does she need to lose? And Jaime decides that he's going to go get her with Bronn. And again, not really, as a book reader, not knowing what's going on, but so this is all, so far all this is setting up new plot points that I'm not going to know what's going on. So, and then later on Cersei assumes the role of Hand in her son's stead, and we don't know if Tommen actually said that he wants his mother to rule in his place, or if she's just taking liberties with her son. And then her uncle actually just says, you're just, Queen Mother, like, you're not an actual authority. And this kind of goes with the rest of what I bring up about Cersei, especially in the video that I did about Cersei herself, is just, she's a sympathetic character because all her life she has to deal with the fact that she's a woman in a society where women are given very limited roles, and we can tell that she just wants some sort of power, some sort of control, whether it's over her own life or just, political. Like, she wants an actual role in society, and where in the books it seems like it's more just like power. I think the show is just showing you more like it's because she really wants a job, she really wants a role in a place in society. It's not just her being power hungry. And I think the same sympathies can be applied to book Cersei too. Like, she really just wants a place, and she's kind of just gotten power hungry because she's been rejected because she's a woman. So she kind of just has let it get to her head. But anyways, all these slights, especially by, like, her own family, who, like, tell her, like, you're nothing but a woman over and over again. It must be so frustrating. So, Cersei is definitely at a high stress point and has been for quite some time. Not saying that she's not a bad character or I'm justifying any of the bad things she's done, but she definitely is in a high stress situation. So that's just going to lead into Dorne, where Dorian is sickly and he's, he can't walk, he's in a chair, and he's very wise. Like, he's like, Oberyn got himself in that situation. Like, I love my brother, but Oberyn chose to get into a trial by combat and lost. It was fair. It was man versus man. Nothing was set up to disadvantage him. It was a fair fight. It was a fair trial. And he lost. And even though I love him and he's my brother, I'm not going to punish an innocent girl because Oberyn lost. And, what's her name? Ilaria, I believe? I'm sorry, I get them all mixed up because there's Elia, but I'm pretty sure that was the sister who died many years before. And she's one of the Sand Snakes, and she has the Sand Snakes, or is she one of the Sand Snakes? I can't remember. Or is she the mother of the Sand Snakes? Sorry. I'm, like, the Dornish, they have so much going on because they adopt their bastards that I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. In the comments, clarify a bit for me, if you will. But anyway, she says the Sand Snakes are with her for vengeance. She's ready to tear Myrcella apart, which I'm against. That poor girl hasn't done anything. I mean, if you want to go after, Cersei and the Lannisters directly, please do. Except for Tyrion, because Tyrion is the love of my life. But anyways, go for the Lannisters, that would be fine. As long as you're doing it directly. Leave poor Myrcella out of it. But, I actually like Dorian. He's logical. He's not letting vengeance drive him. I like him a lot. Like, he seems like a really cool guy. However, the ladies are pissed. So, next we have Daenerys. And I love her council. I love how it's like just a mix of, everyone that should have a voice. She has an ex-slave there, she has an ex-master there, she has her knight, Sir Barristan the Bold. She has, who else does she have? I don't know. I just liked the mix of it. And, it's a lot of voices that need to be heard, and she allows them to speak. And then she finds out about her father, who was the Mad King. He deserved to be overthrown. He was killing people for no reason. He was being very brutal about his justice. And Barristan has been telling her this whole time, like, you need to learn, you know, a balance between justice and mercy. Like, what's fair? Like, you know, you need to find some balance. Like, even though, yes, like, they committed a crime, that crime should be met with, you know, punishment. It doesn't necessarily, just because you do, like, a hand-for-hand punishment doesn't necessarily mean that that's fair justice or that's the wisest move to make. And I think that that's a theme that they've been playing with for Daenerys' role for a while, and they're kind of just, like, throwing it in your face, like, she needs to learn justice versus mercy, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, we get it. I get it. She's kind of needs to learn how to rule. We get it. And people get so mad at her because she isn't conquering Westeros yet, and yet it's just like, she can't keep control of these cities. Like, her decision to stay there and learn how to rule is actually a pretty smart one, considering she's not ruling very well. Like, she doesn't know when to, like, show mercy. She doesn't really know, how to take advice very well. Like, yes, she listens to everyone, but she doesn't necessarily apply what she's listening to what she does. She kind of still just does what she wants anyway. And so now it's just getting her in a lot of trouble. And the way her dragons are acting is kind of reflective of how she's ruling. And so just everything's just going to hell. Like, her dragons aren't listening to her. She just beheaded a slave, and the slaves are the one who gave her that city. So the masters were already against her because she overthrew their power, and then she gave power to the slaves, and then she goes and beheads an ex-slave, which means the slaves are not going to be loyal to her anymore. So now the entire city's against you. Like, while you had, you know, a balance, you've just kind of destroyed their trust because you want to keep exacting exact justice as opposed to showing some mercy. And that's what Daenerys needs to learn. And so that's why she's not in Westeros. That's why she's not conquering it, because she still needs to learn how to rule. And watching her, yes, is getting a little boring, to be honest. They keep driving this idea of justice versus mercy, and she needs to rule, blah, blah, blah. We get it, okay? You know, honestly, I'm probably going to be bored until Tyrion shows up with her, because I love Tyrion and I love her, but something new needs to happen. So, I'm not going to go over the Tyrion the Tyrion segment, because I was pretty self-explanatory. He's still on his way to Daenerys. And they went over more of the reason about why he's headed towards Daenerys, which was explained the first time they said they were going to go. Anyways, and then I'm going to end with Jon Snow, which is very self-explanatory. He was made the new Lord Commander. Who would have guessed? This time, like, it was just, like, a simple vote. There was nothing epic about him becoming Lord Commander. And usually Game of Thrones is really, really good at taking moments like these and making them epic and hyping them up and making you go, yeah, like, Jon Snow's new Lord Commander. And they didn't. I was really disappointed. Like, I'm not even going to just compare it to the book, which did have an epic, Lord Commander choosing thing that went on. But honestly, like, I'm not saying it has to be done like the books, but, like, you could have hyped that up, HBO. Like, I was not excited for Jon Snow being Lord Commander at all, and that's a big deal. We should have been excited for that. Come on. So, that's my Game of Thrones episode review. I just picked out the points that I wanted to go over, because most of it's self-explanatory. You've watched the show. There's no point in me going over everything bit by bit, because you've seen it. What's the point of me talking about things that you've seen, other than to just point out and pick and choose things that I have input on. So that's how I do my reviews. If you're still interested, hit the like button. It lets me know that you guys still want to see these, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. And don't forget to check out the previous videos if you're new here to tie everything together and get to know me a little bit better. Also, speaking of getting to know me a little bit better, in the description below are links to my Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. Almost anything you can find is under the name The Lady Kaylah, and so you can check me out there. Thank you for your time. Till next time. Bye.